Today, we're talking to Gene Rosendale, who is a M&A advisor working with companies who are doing $10 to $100 million per year in top-line revenue. We work with Gene to help him target sellers of those companies and connecting them to buyers for a big liquidity event. So if you're an M&A advisor, this interview is for you. Let's dive into the video. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today, I'm going to be interviewing Gene from Advocate Advisors. In the last 5 years, Gene had been spending $30,000 to $40,000 a year on his marketing efforts and not achieving the kind of results that he and his team were looking for. We're going to be talking to him about how he achieved the same results in the last 4 months with us as he did in the last 5 years. Very excited to talk to him and share with you his journey at Quantum Scaling. I'll see you there. Everybody, really excited with this next guest, Mr. Gene Rosendale. Gene, why don't you tell the folks listening and watching this what it is that you do, where it is that you're based?
Okay, we are a boutique investment banking firm and also an M&A advisory, and we are headquartered in Chicago with offices in Chicago and sister offices in a couple of other cities, Texas, New York, and Washington State.
Awesome. And in 1 to 2 short statements, what was your situation before working together with Quantum Scaling?
Well, in our industry, most people's leads are from some form of referral source, networking, that sort of thing, given the nature of some of the things that we do. But for the previous 5 years, we did also supplement that with paying marketing firms to do email, phone marketing, that sort of thing, to supplement our own networking efforts.
And what were the results of those efforts?
Well, I mean, the reason we were searching for something else is that every year the results were poor. So we had over 5 years, we used 4 different marketing firms. So each one had essentially a year to prove themselves out. We were spending somewhere between 36 and 48 across those 5 years each year. And over the 5 years, we just went and calculated that recently. Over the 5 years, we had 5 qualified prospects. Over the 5 years, 1 turned into a client.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a very disappointing, obviously.
Yeah. Yes. And in that time, I mean, what were some of the things you wish you could do when you were in that position?
Hiring these people simply to get more leads, right? And each one of them, and we have marketing backgrounds, and so although we don't do that we haven't been doing it in our own firm, we were going to engage in that it's not like these people didn't know what they were doing. That's the important thing, is they were all good at what they did. It's just that their ability to provide leads in our industry, in our business, that's a bit of a challenge, and it's also very competitive. They just couldn't make it happen. And what we were looking for is, essentially what they promised, which was probably 5 to 10 times what they delivered.
It seems like from the outside looking in, and obviously you have more context to this, it's getting the timing right, but then also getting in front of the right prospect seems to be both of the main challenges.
Yeah, the problem with the M&A world is that if there is a prospect which is really going to be just the owner, essentially, who is thinking about selling, that's a fairly confidential issue. I mean, the last thing they want is any market damage coming from customers, suppliers, competitors, employees, knowing that it might be for sale. So it's a very confidential decision that they make. And if they're just thinking about it, there's no way to go and find that person without trying to contact them and confidentially saying, are you interested in this sort of thing? So the industry sends out tons of emails. If you talk to a business owner, they'll say, I get 1 of these a week. So you have to try to differentiate, and that's really part of the problem. So the key is that you have to canvas. You're just looking for that half of 1% of people in the marketplace that is thinking in the back of their mind that, yeah, I'm thinking about selling the company, but I can't tell anybody. So we're trying to surface those folks and see if we can get into a conversation with them. So that's really the challenge. For a lot of other companies, someone can choose to engage or not engage in their services at any time. In this case, if you're not thinking about selling, you're not a prospect. And that's 99% of all companies are not thinking about selling.
As you were, trying to find a way to get in front of that audience, how did you find us?
Well, I found you guys the same way that we find prospects today. An invitation showed up for a webinar, and it said, is that something that you're interested in listening to? And I'm the one in the firm that has the most marketing background, so I've been slated as the person to vet various folks. So once we decided we were going to replace the 5th company that we were using, I said, we got to do something different. So my job was to, and I think probably every week for about 6 weeks, I listened in or interviewed a marketing company. I responded to a solicitation. This was the only one that was a calendar invite to a webinar. The rest of them were solicitations asking for a conversation. And I vetted all the folks. I never heard anything different. This was a different medium, so I went to the webinar, and I expected to hear, what I always hear on all these things, listening to the webinar. But there were a few things that were different. And when I heard some of those things, I said, okay, this is different. And there's a number of things that were attractive to us. So we responded after the webinar for a conversation, wanted to engage.
And as you were having a conversation with our team and going through the process, what doubts or fears did you have, and how did those come up?
I mean, what marketing people, various firms that we've talked to, what they're really good at is making promises they can't keep, right? Because they don't really understand the challenge of our business, and so their results are going to be much worse. And then going through full year of at least 4 of these firms, all being very credible, talented firms doing what they said they would do and doing it well, they started to realize, okay, this is just very difficult. This is a hard one, and our yields aren't going to be the same. When we were listening to quantum scaling, a number of things came out. And also, in addition, this is what's even worse, with these other firms, we're actually spending money. It's just going out the door. They're supposed to deliver leads. There's nothing else that we have that's a residual asset. What we really liked about quantum scaling was that, so not only were they going to help us with a more end-to-end, more robust process, they were going to give us all of the platform components that were necessary, which is, half a dozen software applications and licenses. And these were all things that quantum scaling was going to do for us. They were going to help us install it in our own firm and then help us with running that. And even could supplement with very inexpensive but talented resources to actually run it if we didn't have enough resources to do it. So we've been doing it internally, but we're probably going to start using some of those external services that you guys offer of access to people that can perform some of these functions for us. We can't get over how inexpensive it is for the quality of people that we're getting. So that's impressive. But the main thing is that after 6 months now, with a couple of trials to figure out how to do this with your guys' coaching, we've gotten more we've yielded as many leads as we did over 5 years, as I mentioned, and we haven't even scaled it yet. So if we were to scale this, instead of getting 5 qualified prospects over 5 years, we're expecting to get 10 to 15 a month with scaling this process, and we own it. That's the main thing. And then we'll keep a relationship with being in the quantum scaling community to maintain keeping the process current. So we're going to maintain the use of various tools that you guys continue to vet, continue to improve the process and your guys' ideas. I mean, it's an unbelievable relationship. We can't tell you how excited we are about it. Given our past experiences, I mean, this is ridiculous. If someone told us that this could happen, we'd say, yeah, nuts, forget it. Are you kidding me? This is like, you're dreaming.
And so obviously you say it's exciting, but I mean, what does this do for the business outlook going forward?
Well, so our past networking and that sort of thing is, typical in our industry. That keeps the business going. It doesn't grow the business. So in this case, we're talking about dramatic growth of the business, so much so that it'll outstrip all the resources that we have. So what we just recently have done as a result of this kind of result that we're getting from the marketing effort, that we've had to contract with a couple of partner companies that are people that we knew, folks that were partners at our firm historically, people with deeper resources, and then had to start developing referral arrangements to these folks that, okay, listen, I think we're going to find more leads and more engagements than we can possibly deliver. So the arrangements are, how can we get resources from these other folks, or just share in the wealth with giving them the lead and the client, have them do the delivery. That's the only way that we're going to be able to scale. So we've got a marketing program now that clearly outstrips our ability to deliver, which is a dream come true. And it's forced us to go and find other resources. And it's easier to do what we're doing right now than it is to try to bring all those resources in-house. So we will grow the company dramatically, and we'll not even do half the work. And it caught us off guard. I mean, we didn't think we'd ever need to do that, but because it requires having more opportunities than you can possibly deliver, which is everyone's dream come true. But that's the last thing we expected. So we've been hustling here to solve this problem.
And in the process, we're reflecting back on where it is that you are now versus where it is that you started. What did you like about the process the most? What stood out to you?
The setup, right? Fundamentally, the setup is that you're going to help us to create a process that we own. All right. So that's just the setup all by itself is extremely attractive, right? So then once you get into the process with quantum scaling, everybody that we talk to, and I don't know that somehow you guys just gave us your A team and we never saw the B team. I don't know, but everybody that we saw saw was shockingly proficient, and their bedside manner in terms of bringing people along, knowing that this is going to be new to almost all their clients, was pretty amazing. So the ability to get talent as well as people that know how to coach people along. And probably the most important thing, and I suspect this is a problem for you guys, is that your process pushes us. We don't have to pull your people along in this process and say, come on, let's go. You guys are pushing us and saying, come on guys, here's the next meeting, and you're pushing us and making us make this a higher priority, the priority that it should be, forcing us to do that. Now, part of the reason why I think some people don't make it the priority is because they probably have, like us, a previous marketing history that says, listen, I'm not going to prioritize this at the top because, I don't have a lot of expectation of what I'm going to get out of this. It's just good hygiene. It's just a cost of doing business. But in your case, that, listen, you guys need to do this because this is going to change your life, and you need to stay on top of it. So it pushed us to prioritize this, and we probably put a lot more energy toward this faster and earlier than we would have ever considered. And I suspect you have to do that with everybody that you deal with, but it was a surprise and a pleasant treat.
Awesome. Yeah, I know in your guys' case as well, looking at the market, and there's just so much opportunity, and there still is, especially as we're just getting started and just starting to ramp up and scale up the campaign.
But because our challenge is really, it's canvassing first, right? You've got to get people to reveal this confidential information that I am thinking about it, and that's going to be a super small group of people. So we can talk about a large market being just a whole bunch of companies of medium business size out there in the United States, across the country. But really, the real addressable market at any point in time is less than 1%, because they're not going to talk to us. They have no reason to talk to us unless you're thinking about selling their business. So for you guys to help us find a way to, first of all, get all those people to raise their hand and identify. So we get all these people self-identifying, and they're self-identifying profiles that are exactly what we asked for. So these are essentially qualified prospects for us. Now, I will say that they're not all immediate, right? A lot of these, the 5 that we've surfaced so far, just in the trial run, just to see if we know how to do this, with really small sample groups, they all meet our profile. Now, they're not ready to do it today. That's okay. We wanted to get in early. That was actually part of the design, to start engaging with these guys early. So it's just perfect for what we're trying to do.
Amen. And if somebody was on the fence that's watching this, what would you advise them to do?
So, so first of all, I'd say, I don't know, over the last 5 years, with just the solicitations that I've responded to, I may have talked to at least 24 marketing firms. And because I have marketing background, the questions I can ask them to try to vet them, are pretty significant. But the promises are significant, and what people do are effectively the same. What you really need to do is you need to have a full end-to-end process using all the latest technology and platforms is what you really need to have. People aren't going to do that for you. These are the only people that I ran into that are going to help you build this internally, keep you current, and ensure that you do it right, and ensure you get the results. So I wouldn't hesitate for a minute. I'm telling you guys, it's too good to be true. And if it sounds too good to be true, because it is, you just need to do this. And the value is ridiculous, right? So we were paying more every year for almost nothing.
But just to inspect something that you said on the too good to be true, you mentioned that, like, oftentimes if something is too good to be true, usually it is. But then contrasting that with your experience with us, is obviously there's work involved. It requires a lot of thought, for both of our sides and contribution. What else and where else did this challenge you and your team? I know you touched on a little bit, like, having to give it more urgency and more focus, but where else?
Well, I think that's the main thing. And if you don't have a marketing background, which I think certainly a lot of people in our business, and I would say consulting firms in general, which I know you guys do a lot of work with, generally speaking, don't have marketing backgrounds, right? These folks are expertise at whatever their discipline is that they consult in. But so if you don't have that, then this is going to take a fair amount of time. If you've got a full-time job right now, this is going to be, you're going to add another 20% to this, because you're going to learn a lot of things about marketing, and you're going to have to learn a lot of things you just don't know in order to do this. But if you don't want to own anything and you don't want to have any control of your destiny in marketing going forward, then maybe this isn't the right thing. This is for people who want to be able to understand it, control it, and be able to execute on it regularly into the future. If you don't have the resources, that would normally be, I would say for most people, the primary reason why not to do this. But quantum scaling has all the resources available. They help you set it all up, and they'll supplement whatever resource you have with trained people, extremely cost-effective price. So way cheaper than trying to hire any marketing folks for yourself internally. But you have to want to have an internal system that you control and you can use consistently into the future. Because if you're paying other people, firms to do things for you, that money's just going out the door. If you're not getting the return on assets like leads, well, then you're just throwing that money away, right? So it really is sort of a renting versus owning kind of decision for yourself. So again, if you want to own and control your destiny, there's just no other way to do this. It's a very complex world in marketing, changes so quickly these days in the digital world, and it's hard to stay current. And so you have to try to figure it out yourself. I think it's impossible. It's having a partner like Quantum Scaling that's constantly on the lookout for what is the most current platforms. You need to be part of that community in the long term, because that's what will keep you current, even if you have a good decision today or a good solution today. So I think, if you really do want it to be outsourced, I just don't want to deal with this. I'll throw money at it. Then good luck using some other folks, because you won't get the results, but you can keep throwing the money out the window. I think if you really want results that matter, you'll have to bring it internally. Then your challenge will be, can you hire folks, etc.? And you don't really want to do that. You want somebody who can help you build the system and then give you trained talent to run it, implement whoever you have.
Awesome. Well, Gene, thank you so much for this interview today. Really appreciate your time, and this testimonial means the world to us, and we're really happy to see the results that you're seeing.
Well, anybody that I talk to, I'll tell anybody this is it's a wonderful experience, and it's just getting better. So anyway, thank you.
Cool. Thank you. I'll see you around.
Right.
Folks, you just spent time listening to how Gene is finding multiple seven-figure transactions using the same strategy. Now, if you're curious whether or not this can work for your business brokerage or M&A advisory, go ahead and click the link in the description. From there, we'll walk you through a custom strategy roadmap that's bespoke to you and your business. And we'll show you what's worked for M&A advisors like Gene and other business brokers to find sellers of real companies for real transactions. Now, this works if you're working on a specific niche and you want to find a very specific type of seller, or if you work across multiple industries. We'll show you how to apply this depending on your firm ideal seller profile. So go ahead, click the link in the description, find a time, select a time, and our team will walk you through exactly how you can go to market and connect with thousands of potential sellers. We'll see you there. Cheers.